If there is one event that nearly every race on Azeroth remembers, it is the first opening of the Dark Portal. While this was not the beginning of Azeroth's long history with the Legion, it was one of the defining moments of Azeroth's history, as well as one most easily remembered by the vast majority of the peoples of Azeroth. The War of the Ancients may be the very beginning, but the opening of the Dark Portal was the trigger most people who currently tread Azeroth's surface remember. It was the culmination of that first Legion incursion 10,000 years ago. Most people, especially the older humans of Stormwind, the Orcs, and some of the allied peoples, remember the first opening all too well. The great mage Medivh, the Guardian, was corrupted from birth by the Dark Titan Sargeras. Over the years, after he awoke from his coma and was completely under the sway of the Dark Titan, he colluded with Gul'dan and built the Dark Portal, through which the fell-tainted orcs poured, laying siege to Stormwind. After a long and arduous string of battles across Elwynn Forest, Stormwind was sacked, King Lane murdered, and her people scattered. The traitorous Guardian died before Stormwind's fall, killed by his apprentice Khadgar, who is cursed by Medivh with old age, and beheaded by Anduin Lothar. Gul'dan, who is in the middle of a psychic link with the Guardian, was rendered comatose when Medivh was killed, allowing Orgrim Doomhammer to challenge and defeat Blackhand the Destroyer, Gul'dan's puppet war chief, and burn Stormwind to the ground. With the destruction of the city, many trekked north, seeking refuge in Lordaeron, including a young Prince Varian Wrynn and Anduin Lothar. There, King Tyrannus Menethil II called for an emergency council of war, where he petitioned the human kingdoms of Stromgarde, Alterac, Kul Tiras, Gilneas, and Dalaran for their support against the Orcish threat. All but Alterac, led by King Aiden Paranold, and Gilneas, led by King Gen Greymane, offered their support. But how does this affect you as a role player? Well, there is a defining moment in everybody's life in the world's history that everybody always seems to remember. Most people on Azeroth remember where they were when the Dark Portal was opened. This moment in Azeroth's history is viewed much like large pivotal points in history are viewed in the real world. The question is always asked, where were you when the Dark Portal opened? The first opening of the Dark Portal is, for many role players, especially those who play older characters, the start of the conflicts that have been raging across Azeroth ever since. For them, and for most of the short-lived races, this is where the story begins. This is the beginning. This was Azeroth's very first serious military campaign, and this is where a lot of career soldiers got their start. And while the rest of Azeroth remembers where they were the day the Dark Portal opened, there are three very specific groups of people who were affected most. The humans of Stormwind, the orcs of Draenor, as well as the Draenei. Alliance, especially those role-playing humans born in Stormwind. This was a time that was rife with chaos. Suddenly, there were green-skinned brutes smashing their way through your homes and setting your city on fire. You've lost friends and family to them and their wanton destruction. Even if your character was very young during this time, you likely remember it vividly. Remember that Varian Wrynn was only a child when Stormwind was besieged and set ablaze. The entirety of the First War took place in a relatively short period of time, around 3 to 5 years, the mass exodus from Stormwind beginning 4 years after the opening of the Dark Portal. For the Orcs, the opening of the Dark Portal literally changed your lives. Gul'dan's machinations saw the vast majority of your people in the grip of a fel-fueled, unnatural bloodlust. The Warlock's dark magics took their toll on your folk. Some of you were likely magically aged by Gul'dan and his minions to be fed to the Legion war machine. While you were never truly a peaceful people, like the Draenei you came to share your homeworld with, fel magic imbued you with a strength and a brutality that was unparalleled to anything you have ever known. Willing or not, you became the tools of a force bent on destroying everything, not just Azeroth, but eventually you as well. As for the Draenei, the major effects of the opening of the Dark Portal came before for you. You didn't escape the opening unscathed. Gul'dan used your people as training dummies for his newly juiced up Horde army. You were the whetstone to the blade of the orcs. For the 8 years prior to the opening of the Dark Portal, the orcs hunted you to near extinction and forced you to hide in the darkest corners of Draenor. So defeated were your people that you didn't come out of hiding until after the Dark Portal was closed during the Second War. And even then, you only did so to escape the Blood Elves, wresting control of one of the 4 satellite vessels surrounding Tempest Keep from them, the Exodar. Unfortunately, the Blood Elves sabotaged it, forcing you to crash land on Azeroth. And some of you didn't even get that, being trapped in Shatrath City or any of the small sanctuaries scattered across Outland, such as the Temple of Tel Hamat or Tel Rador. The opening of the Dark Portal changed Azeroth. There was not a race that does not remember where they were when Medivh and Gul'dan breached the space between worlds and changed the face of both planets. While not all races of Azeroth were directly affected, all still feel the ripples caused by it. For many, the opening of the Dark Portal was the beginning of Azeroth's long and tumultuous battle with the forces of the Legion, a war that rages on even today as Azeroth shakes with the footfalls of a fell-empowered foe. Well, that is going to be it from me for this week. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, if you like what you see and you want to see more, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to comment below and don't forget to subscribe. I also have a Patreon. The link is in the description box below, as well as up in my channel header art. So if you want to help me improve my video quality, make sure you stop on by and donate. Remember, your donations go directly to things to improve the quality of my videos and may lead to more videos per week. Anyways, guys, thank you again so much for watching. Have a great week, have a great weekend, and I will see you again in Azeroth.